Got a listener question today. I don't see my hits during a match. Most of the time, if I fire two shots and the sight picture is good, I keep going. I know that I should be calling all shots, but have trouble with this. Any suggestions? All right, so this is actually a good question. It makes a lot of stuff to talk about. First off, you don't see your hits during the match. I think that's a good thing for the most part. Depending on what we're talking about. So let's break this down to a bunch of different pieces. I'm going to take this as you don't see your hits on the target during the match. That I'm totally fine with, and I think that's fine. The next part, most of the time, I fire two good shots, and if I see the sight picture is good, I keep going. I know I should be calling all shots, but I have trouble with this. Any suggestions? So, picking this apart, I'm going to disagree with the premise that calling your shots means seeing your bullets on the target. Shot calling is one of those things like, I don't know, trigger control, where a bunch of different people have a bunch of different ideas about what it means. They articulate it differently. Shot calling, it's normally a discussion I don't even get into. I'm going to propose this. When you fire the gun, most of the time, you'll be able to tell if it's good or not by two different indicators. One would be vision. So I'm looking at the target. I see the sight go to where I want to shoot. The sight lifts, and wherever the sight lifts from, that's your indication the bullet went there. If you shoot, and then you see the sight slash, so it goes up, then it kind of slashes down, then it comes back up, you have a pretty good indication just visually the sight did something I don't want it to do. I probably influenced the gun in some way. So, again, just visually, like where does the sight go? And it doesn't have to be perfect. You might have the sight be a bouncing ball. Maybe you just see colors. But if you look at the target and it does like this and it's right in the middle, you're like, bop, bop. Like, oh, cool. Pretty safe to say if you're laser focused and looking at the spot, the shots are going to go where you're looking. That's a pretty good rule of thumb. The next way you get feedback from is a feeling in your hands. So, for example, I'm releasing the shot. It's like, bop, bop. I'm like, oh, crap. I just did something. I'm not quite sure where it went, but I felt my hand push into the gun. Or maybe you're shooting and it's like you feel like it's getting away from you or it's recoiling a lot inside your hands. And then, like, hey, you have feedback from your hands that your grip didn't feel right or you pushed into the gun. That tells you have to send more shots or that shot was not a good shot. So I'm going to suggest two different ways. Again, either a feeling in your hand influencing the gun in some way or something you see visually. My sight wasn't on the target when I fired. I saw it slash, bounce. I saw it climb up the target. So I fired the first shot and afterwards I never saw the sight again. Or you watched the sight and you saw it track up the target. So again, visually would give you a good amount of feedback. So this person's question, if it sees most of the time I fire two shots. The sight picture is good. I keep going. Know that I should be calling all shots, but I have trouble with this. So I don't think you're necessarily doing anything wrong, but I think the way you're thinking about it is probably a bit flawed. Also, the way this person's asking the question makes me think they're unsure about the results on the target until they walk down and the targets are scored or you look at the targets. That's the part I would be addressing. So you're looking at connecting cause with effect. Same two indicators I just talked about. Something with your hands that you felt the gun do or when you press the trigger or fighting into the gun to push down to, the gun's getting ready to kick or recoil. So you push down just a little bit trying to fight it or stop that recoil from happening. Or you see the dots start to lift. So you push down to make the gun return sooner to the target. So either a feeling or a sighting thing. But you want to get to the point where in a perfect world, you just look where you want the bullets to go. The sight comes to where you're looking. You react to whatever sight aiming scheme is appropriate. For most of shooting, it'll be either the color of your sight or just your fiber if you're an iron shooter. So the color of your sight gets there, you can start shooting. Or for a more precise or a smaller target, then you wait for your sight to stop. It looks like a sight, so it'd be front sight through the rear notch. Or your red dot stops stable, not moving. It looks like a dot. It doesn't look like a streak anymore. Then you shoot. But from doing that and having a little bit of kind of discipline, you get to the point where you can walk through after you're done shooting a practical shooting stage and you just pretty much know where the bullets went. There'll be no big question marks. Sometimes, like specifically in competition, you'll see somebody shoots a stage, they get done, they unload it, and then they just make a beeline straight to a specific target. That's usually because they felt something or saw something they didn't like. It's like, I feel pretty good about everything, but I'm not really sure about the second shot I fired on that target, and they walk straight there to check it out. So that's my 2 cents on shot calling. I've seen, well, like, I mean, it was valuable. Travis Tomasi did a thing, this is probably 15 or 20 years ago. I remember seeing it all over the internet. Maybe Travis didn't even come up with it, but it was where you'd shoot, you'd do like a slow fire shot on a target, and then next to it there was like a dry erase board or just a regular target, and you take a little paster or an indicator or a Sharpie and put a dot where you thought the bullet went. So you'd shoot the shot, go to your target, mark it, go to your shot, go to your target, shoot a shot, then mark the target, and do that for 3 or 5 rounds, then walk down and compare what was on the target to what was on your board. Again, that was like 20 years ago, but I saw Travis do that. I'm sure other people before him came up with it. I think it was valid, but I don't know that I would do a ton of training like that. If you want to experiment with it and do it a little bit, that's okay. But it's not something I would do in class or would like tell you to spend a large amount of your training time doing. But if you want to do it once or twice just to kind of see what's up, that'd be fine. But otherwise, you want to gain the experience not at group shooting pace, but at practical shooting speed where the bullets are going. So if you're doing reactive shooting, so reacting each sight picture, 6 shots, so draw the gun, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then you get done, you can holster the gun. Hey, the third shot, something definitely felt a little bit fishy. I think I pushed on it. I think the third shot went, I'm left-handed, so low and right. Then you walk down, look at the target. It's like, yep, one's just a little bit out, or it's a Charlie, or it's at the corner of the A box. Yep, that was the third shot. I felt myself do that. I'm going to try to, work on placing my attention on my firing hand so I don't do that anymore. But, so anyway, that's my 2 cents on, I don't know, this person's question and kind of a tangent for shot calling in general. You want to get to the point where when you're done shooting, you don't really have any question marks. You just know where they go. And I'll suggest 2 different ways you're going to get feedback from that. It's visual or a feeling, something in your hands. So hopefully that gives you something to think about in your training. If you have questions, a different question or related question, drop it below in the comments. I do my best to read through the comments and answer them. And if there's a question I get often enough or a question will be longer to answer, I'll just make a video about it like I did this one. So appreciate you watching.